Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe. Today we're going to be playing some best of one standard on Arena. So what we have today is a Jeskai Control Blue White Red or Jeskai Walkers list. So this is a variation of a list that's been going around. Ali Eldrazi and a couple of others have been playing a Planeswalker focused control deck. No Fires of Invention in this list. So you tend to one-for-one your opponent. You're not casting multiple spells per turn, but you usually are able to achieve a little bit more of a hard control, and you're not as all reliant on the fires to actually win. So this list, I've tweaked it a bit as we've gone along, kind of shored up the numbers to what I've liked. Generally speaking, when you're playing these decks, it's just kind of to what you run into on your specific point of the ladder. What I've been running into is a lot of aggro and flash, so I've been playing predominantly to deal with those. So the deck itself, kind of walk you through the cards. We have Shock, 3 of, Justice Strike that deals damage equal to its power, and Bonecrusher Giant as our targeted removal spells. Bonecrusher also comes down as a creature on the flip side. Some of the lists you'll see will play 4 Shocks, 3 Negates. No Bonecrusher. I like Bonecrusher because it differentiates our focus in terms of having a creature as well, another way to win the game. 3 Fblthp. So this is a card cycle effect. So it's card draw, but also gives us a blocker. So it plays better against all these aggro decks that have been going around. Oftentimes it draws us a card and then gets killed. It's also pretty useful, and it's happened a couple times where opponents don't interact with its ability properly. So if they try to say stomp it with the Bonecrusher Giant, because the ability fizzles and this gets shuffled back, they lose their adventure spells. A couple negates, that's to kind of offset the fires decks that you do run into best of one ladder, or like the adventure half of cards, Great Henge, Embercleave, stuff like that. Then we have Prison Realm as catch-all removal versus creatures and planeswalkers, gets rid of some of the bigger stuff. Also works well with, like, if you get like a Hydrate Crisis, for example, you can bounce it after with Teferi, recycle your Prison Realm effects. 3 Narsets, just cut one down. I opted to go with a second Chandra. I wanted more ways to close out the games. I had more than enough times of securing the board state, but then not enough of a fast clock to actually close it out, so opponent was able to kind of sneak out, especially against like mono red and stuff like that. Teferi, staple of control, instant speed your removal, like your sweepers. Royal Scions been pretty good. It serves both as a distraction early with high loyalty that the opponent can attack into, and it smooths out our draw. Say against like a control deck, if we run up, stuff like Justice Strike, Deafening Clarion, stuff like that is not going to be useful. So we can get rid of the bad half problem and then dig for answers. And then the ultimate can threaten damage, stuff like that. Deafening Clarion as a sweeper along with 1 Time Wipe. Time Wipe can also bounce our Bonecrusher Giants. And then a Chemister's Insight just as something we could discard to Scion, some card advantage, 2 spells in 1. I've opted to go down to 3 Sarkhans instead of 4. Sarkhan lets us close out the game quickly, but its negative does put you at risk. If they kill either the dragon or they can stomp it in response. It does provide a very quick clock though, and if you're able to tap with it, you pretty much won the game. Izzet Viceroy. I've been pretty medium on this card, to be honest, and I'll probably cut it for an Ugin. In this deck, because we don't have like a high density of enchantments, a lot of our cards are sorry, not enchantments, instants and sorceries. Its negative isn't always the most reliable in terms of removal. Its plus is fine, but I find that we more than likely run closer to decking out and running out of threats than it actually winning the game. I did pop off its ultimate once, and that was pretty much a game I was going to win with, regardless of it being Ral. And then 2 Chandras, gets around the counter decks. It can sweep the board, but also just puts a clock on our opponent with a couple upticks. Mana base wise, the only thing I changed was I went to 1 Castle Ardenvale instead of a Plains. We're not playing Fabled Passage, so it doesn't matter. Castle Ardenvale lets us sink extra mana and can provide us a stream of blockers. Number of Scrylands, and then 4 Interplanar Beacon. With such a density of Planeswalkers, it allows us to generate a bunch of extra life. There is a sideboard that I'll post on the Aether Hub list. This is pretty much the list that I got as a starting point from Ali Eldrazi. You can tweak it as you want, but I've been playing best of one. Games go a little bit faster, and it's easier to rank up, I find. Platinum tier 3, we'll play some ranked with it, see how it goes. This is the deck I've been playing offline. There's some games where, like, if you sweep them once or twice, especially, like, there's a lot of knights going around, just being able to, like, Clarion, like, 3 for 1, 4 for 1, usually can get them pretty far behind, even just, like, tempoing them by bouncing Rotting Registrar. So Theros is coming out soon. So this hand here I'll probably keep. We got a draw and removal, so it's fine. This is knights, so we want to dig for... I'm probably going to stomp this, to be honest, and then play Fblthp. Depends on what they play on, too. That's not really a draw we wanted. Here... So we can take a draw to try to find Clarion. I think we just do this now and get rid of the Stormfist. We want to grind them out of cards, and Stormfist refills their hand, especially if we're just 1-for-1ing them. Obviously, if we had a Clarion, we'd be in a lot better position. This would go up to 5, so we don't really trade well with it. Okay, so that suggests that they have the flash one. So we can Teferi plus here, or Teferi minus, bounce this, they play the other one. Tempos them out a turn. They can also attack with both. I'm just concerned with like an Embercleave coming down. Let's just play Teferi out. This will get him to flash it in. Okay, so they don't have it, which is actually good. We have taken 4 points of damage from our lands, which has been kind of painful. They could have Murderous Rider. Okay, they just go Knight and Rotting Registrar. So Chandra gives us a play later. Trying to dig for the time wipe now. So if they have land Embercleave, it gets us. This is one of the harder cards for our deck to deal with. Interesting. They get rid of Murderous Rider. Yeah, that looks like Embercleave to me. Interesting. So they faked it. Oh, you know what it might have been? They didn't realize the Embercleave flash. Yeah. Or they could have just done this post. Time Wipe is a card that plays here. This gives us a blocker. This helps us dig. I think we have to do this. They do have to discard the if it is Embercleave. Yeah, so they did have the Embercleave that turn. They just didn't properly play around Teferi's ability. I think we just block like this. Buys us one more turn. Because even Clarion with Chandra can get rid of this Regisar. Okay, sweet. Teferi does buy us a turn, so let's wait in case they flash in the other dude. Yeah, Black Lion's Paragon, because I could just down tick with Chandra here. That second Chandra is actually pretty good. And then just cycle here. The fact we haven't drawn Interplanar Beacon has really hurt this game. Just those incidental points of life gain do help. Let's uptick Scions. We got Ral. How many instants and sorceries? So like this is the reason. Like we only have one with Ral, so it doesn't really help. So I'm gonna plus Chandra, and then I actually do need to trade off Chandra 1-for-1 here. A little unfortunate. Let's try to cycle through our deck a bit faster. Shock's actually quite good here. So I'm not going to do this now, because they could always pump it in response. So this we put the block, they could try to pump it. If they have Murderous Rider, they still need to pump it to kill us. And then we threaten lethal on the kickback. Opponent gives us the GG. It's fine. Because this now, when it shrinks down, we can just kill it. You can also ultimate and deal 4, and you draw 4, so it's 8 damage. So it should probably just be lethal. Let's go ultimate. Flex on him in style. Sweet. Took him down. Down to 2 life, and we were able to kick him. That's what I like with this deck. It's got a lot of resilience. I think I'm going to kick Ral out. The fact it can't like reasonably kill anything. We'll give it one more shot. Up to the next rank. Plat 2. Sounds good. Against mono red. Having double stomp versus mono red's nice. Hopefully they go ooh, Ginger Brute. see what they do here. Them blowing a shock is fine. Question is, probably get rid of the Ginger Brute just because it can go unblockable. We don't really have anything with haste. Light up the stage and to light up the stage. Okay, so we're going to keep the Torbrand. So I'm going to put this into play tapped. Torbrand is something that's scary, so... Justice Strike. For red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or permanent opponent control. So it doesn't work the way we want it to. Because I can tempo them with the Teferi to bounce this. Really just need to hit lands. We've controlled their board pretty nice. We got a second Teferi. Which is fine. I think we just bounce the Torbrand, gain the extra life. Because I want to set up so this time wipe's pretty good. I can also just Prison Realm Torbrand. It's worse if they have a hasty 1 mana play, which they don't, which bodes well for us. So no more lands. I'm actually going to shock here because I want to have Justice Strike open depending on what they play. Because I want to have a clear board. That's not good. They go face. So they don't respect Teferi. Okay, that's actually not bad.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
So just do this main phase, play one out. Because then I can time wipe at instant speed the following turn and then shock Chandra down and then kill it that way. Surprised there they didn't go after Teferi. Castle's 4 mana total. Tin Street. So they do have the pump into play here. Hey Quantum, it's doing well. How about yourself? So I'm going to take out Chandra here. Plus Teferi. And then just hold up the time wipe, bounce, or Bonecrusher, depending what they play. If they just commit to this Tin Street, I can Justice Strike it. Yeah, it's been actually really fun. It's what I've been laddering up with recently. I think we just do this. It turns them off like any of their spectacle cards. Do they have another burn spell? Are you kidding me? Well, that was annoying. Can't really beat triple burn in that case. I think we played that as well as we could have. Like, we could have gotten the Torbran out earlier and then not have to take the damage from Chandra. But no, we would have prison round it the first time and then not have an action. This hand's fine. Opponent goes first, so we have the option to shock if need be. Regardless, their two play would be open mana or have Paradise Druid, which we can't shock anyways. We need to hit a land. Okay, sweet. We got the land. Since we drew the second one, I think we're going to try to jam a Teferi here. The upside's quite high if this resolves. Okay, they have the sabotage. I'm gonna attack here. Chip damage in this game usually makes a difference. This is also one of the matchups where play draw is also pretty impactful. I don't have white mana for Prison Realm. Okay, so I'm going to keep this just because I want to have Prison Realm open. Like, they likely have a counter here. So I'm going to just hold my mana. Because if they drop Wolf down, then I have Shock Bonecrusher Giant. So at least this kills the Night Pack Ambusher. Okay, they go second Druid. So I'm opting to shock here. Because even if they have Disperse or whatever, like if they have Negate, they have Mystical Dispute. Why are they mainboarding Mystical Dispute? That's tough. Because now if they have Nissa, we're in trouble. We were playing around the 2-mana one. I think we start with attacking. See if they want to counter the Bonecrusher. They can trade with a wolf if need be. Okay, that bodes well for us. No more lands. We have an answer for Nissa if it comes down, and we also have Sarkhan that we can start forcing. Them tapping like this suggests Nissa. That's very odd. Why you don't tap the castle? they attack, I'm going to trade it off. That's worthwhile for me. This resolving also bodes well. I think we keep Negate. Like, Nisa's the card that scares me the most right now. And then no attacks. Oh yeah. This is my Acolyte. They can attack for 4, even with Nisa, that's 7. Doesn't kill Chandra. I want to keep Sarkhan in hand, so I'm just going to do this. Because the Scions are threatening lethal here. Or a threatening ultimate. If they flash Wolf, not too worried. Okay, the Crisis for 4. So we'll gain a life, get this down. This gives us a blocker, puts another counter on them. If we can get like one more counter, it might be enough to win the race. They also have 3 threats on the board that they need to deal with. Interesting. So I'm popping off the ultimate here, deal 6. Let's hit the opponent for that. So our creatures would die here, which isn't really advantageous. Do we want to attack with anything? I think we just hold off. Play out a land past turn. Next turn I can Chandra plus and then Chandra plus. I'm also going to just Bonecrusher them on the end step. Puts 2 more points of damage on them. It's another game where we're kind of behind at times. And this is why I've like Chandra, 2 of in the main board. It really helps shore up this matchup. I screwed that up. We had lethal. They can do a big crisis here, but we can just shoot him for another 2 points of damage. See what they target here. We have a backup. The thing is, all this is not progressing their board, and Chandra just put such a clock on them. This also kind of baits a counter out of them. This also... Oh wait, does this shuffle it back? Oh, no, no, no. It's not an ability. Because they have to double block to soak up the damage. And then they still just die from Chandra's uptick. Yeah, can't speak today. Opponent realizes they're dead. Oh, sweet. Took another one. Yeah, I really like Scions. Like the distraction. I'm just going to give Arena a quick reset. The only card that I'm really uncertain on and I haven't really liked is Ral. In this deck, because you don't have a... It's not like in the Drake's deck where you're just cycling through a lot. Our adventure spells don't cast towards it. Fblthp is our card draw, so it doesn't really work in that case. See if we can get 2-3 more wins. And for a control deck, it can close the game out pretty quick. I was playing like blue-white control in Historic, and it was able to control the board a lot better, but it was slow to win. You're basically trying to win with Castle Ardenvale. I go first, and I have a Teferi, but no red mana. I think we keep it. Okay, that gives us our red mana. Probably pushing. Ooh. If this is a control deck, then I play Narset out first. Swamp. Could be Rakdos. Okay. So there's actually a cool interaction here where we get the card draw off Stormfist, but they just lose a life. So I'm actually just going to keep Narset as a plus for now. So we can do a couple turn. Yeah, a Quantum no Fae in this version. We're not playing fires. So Fae becomes a little bit lackluster. So we want to find a Clarion here. Okay, they're going face. Justice Strike's also good. Let's just get that, and then we'll pass the turn. I'm going to kill before combat. Just so they don't get the Embercleave trigger. Justice Strike can also deal with Rotting Regisar. And then next turn I can Teferi, bounce, and then hold up Justice Strike. Let's see if they just pump into Night here. Sounds is also nice. So I just want to make sure we keep up the Justice Strike mana. It won't deal with the Knight, but it can deal with... Oh, even Sarkhan's pretty nice there. Next turn I can Bonecrusher. As a blocker and Royal Scions. That plays around us getting blown out by them killing our Sarkhan. So the mana efficient play, yeah, I think we do that. Take this out. Fblthp's also pretty good here. Play this out. Just trying to find more removal at this point. I don't have as much white, but let's scry here. Pass turn. Fibbles can make a block here. What do we got? 2. They can also just hard cast Clarion at this point, or Embercleave. Ooh, Time Wipe's nice. Get rid of Hallowed Fountain. I think this is fine because even if they flash in, the Black Knight, the 3/1, they're only dealing 3 to us. Yeah, it looks like they have it. Oh, they have Rider. Okay, not the best, not the worst. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can Sarkhan as well. And they go Knight of Eben Legion. Okay, so how do I want to play with this turn? One, 2, 3. So I can Sarkhan, or minus this on Murderous Rider. They have enough to protect the Knight. Or do I just... Yeah, I think we still do this. If they go after Ral, then it's fine. They have multiple pumps, though. That's what I'm a little concerned of. So maybe we just shock in here. Play a Bonecrusher. It's guaranteed blocker. Next turn I can also do the Castle. Oh, Narset in play actually kind of makes Castle a little bit less useful on their main phase. And then I can hold this in case they try to draw a card on like their end step. Beacon's actually pretty good at just gaining us life with these Sarkhans. Ooh, and Clarion. Let's Teferi here. And I have enough mana for everything. So I could set up the win next turn with Sarkhan. Another beacon also gains us life. Sweet, yeah. Knights, if we can get around the Regisar or just kind of play to it, we usually have quite a bit of game. And that's part of the reason the deck originally didn't have the Giants, but it's much better than Shock. Like, for the most part, killing on 1 or 2 doesn't make a huge difference, but the 4/3 body can trade later on, and then it's like 2 spells in 1. It's also a threat versus aggro, versus like mid-range to control. I can run it for 1 more. See how we do. Alright, this hand is solid. Elements versus control, elements versus flash, elements versus aggro. Really just want to hit lines for Chandra at this point. The Fires matchup's actually pretty hard. Just because they're getting multiple points of value. That is probably the easiest shock target. So I'm gonna shock it first because I do have the Clarion technically, but I don't want him to draw 2 cards off it. I'd rather they take their time, waste a bunch of spells, and go that way. Even if they drop Chandra here, it gives us another turn of just Prison Realm. Okay, they got Cat. They have Oven. Okay, so we probably Clarion here. I'm playing this for best of 1 just because it's faster to rank up versus best of 3, and best of 1's been pretty littered with aggro. So a control deck with a lot of removal plays well. Best of 3 is mostly like Jund and stuff, which takes quite a bit to play against. The games take like half an hour to 45 minutes per game. And in the end, I can go 1 and 2 and just lose 2 pips in terms of rank. Whereas here, even if I lose, the games take 5-10 minutes. This is our 5th game, and with a deck tech, we're 45 minutes into the stream. Spawn of Mayhem. Do I Prison Realm or do I Fblthp hope to draw a land? Because I want to keep this for a Chandra if they have it. But I'd rather keep Teferi alive, because even I could Teferi. Yeah, so we wouldn't have hit it anyways. Even the shock wouldn't have done anything there. They have Chandra here. That's fine if they spend their whole turn doing that. Here, let's just play Fibbles. Play a Bonecrusher. This might entice them to overextend to the board. And then we time wipe, bounce our own Bonecrusher, get the value out of it that way. These Midnight Reapers have been putting in some work. Oh, that's good. Do I time wipe? I think I time wipe still. Or on this board, do I play Ral, let them get distracted, commit a bit more? Because if I was a land, then I could Teferi and instant speed it. I think we just do this. They've also taken a lot of incidental damage, so even if just putting a couple clips of Chandra, this does draw them closer to Oven though. Rakdos should get a lot better with the Scry land. You know what, versus time wipe, I should have. I think we just Bonecrusher Clarion. I'm just trying to drop Chandra down, put like a plus on it, and then start going at the opponent. That's actually very good. Them having Negate. The next set, they're doing the temples. So I'm doing this to see potentially to bait out the Negate. Okay, so they don't. So let's... You know what? I think they can only play it during their turn. During any turn you attacked. I thought it was at any time. Man, we just haven't hit this land. After the set of temples, be interesting. They could do the rest of the fast lines. Those are the like Botanical Sanctum, stuff like that. Holy shit, shite. Do I Chandra here? Or just Clarion? I think we just pass. So I'm actually going to let them kill the Teferi. And then Clarion afterwards. That's aggressive. Bodes well for Chandra. If they attack us, then I'll Clarion on attack. I think that's fine. Is it? Yeah, I want to try to catch multiple things. They're called fast lines or check line. Okay, so opponent's playing well. They're not committing more to the board than need be. Scions is nice as well. So I think based on that, we go Teferi first, plus Teferi. Yeah, they're printed in Modern, and they haven't been printed in a really long time. They're quite expensive. Like at one point, the black red and the green red, because those would be good to have in Pioneer as well to finish the set. I think Negate's probably the worst card in our hand. Plus Teferi there, there's nothing for us to bounce. They might get really aggressive in Castle. Opponent's got all the cards in the world. Get Murderous Riders, Teferi. Rankle's very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna draw or discard. What are you gonna do? Each player discards. One, two, three, 4, 5. So let's discard Prison Realm. Let's just plus, see what we get first. Temple could go away. I opted to keep Ral because it has the upside here. It kills the same way, but it can help us dig deeper. And now we have Bonecrusher as well as removal. And they go Devil here. Reaper. Let's do this first. Interplanar Beacon. Oh, you know what? I should have probably kept the beacon. Just gains us an extra life. Sarkhan wins us the game. Sarkhan plus attack for 8. Gotcha. I really like this deck. Like there we just controlled a lot, just having multiple ways of removal, tempo, just a lot of things generating us value, drawing us cards, really helps. Ral wasn't totally useless that game either, so it helps out. So we're just under an hour. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. As always, if you missed any of my parts, you can catch it on my YouTube channel, MTG_Joe. As always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great one, and see you later.